Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is red ants and black ants. You know, it bothers me and frustrates me to no end. During the most tumultuous racial time of my life, we still have white people putting out these images and analogies showing two different species of animals, insects, birds, or whatever, living amongst each other in peace and harmony, and using this as a reference to how blacks and whites can do the same. This, it angers me. Even though our people are being slaughtered in the streets by white police officers, you got any country bumpkin white person can walk up on you on the street and demand you prove who you are, why you here, who you coming to visit. Any of them have this authority. And if you question them, then they'll call the police, hoping to get you killed. And even doing this, they still want to put out these images of blacks and whites living amongst each other in peace. And that's never happened in the history of the world. Whites don't live among no one in peace. There has never been a race of people on the planet treated more harshly than blacks at the hands of whites. And like I say, it just burns me every time I see pictures and these Negroes, these weak, spineless Negroes, grasping at the straws that whites hand them as if it's going to stop the killing. It's going to stop the mistreatment. There's going to give them some type of respect, and it's not. I don't know what it's going to take for my people to realize that this reality that white people be talking about is never going to happen. And if you think the same idiots that got us into this situation, when you look at how this country is today, during a COVID-19 pandemic, there isn't one vital area or resource that you can go to that you can trust. You can't trust the media. You can't trust whites. You can't trust the government. You can't trust the doctors. So if you can't trust any of these things, how on earth do you think you can have enough trust to live amongst white people? And I apologize for this diatribe, but this last analogy I seen, it really took me over the edge. So I'm going to stick to the analogy that I seen. It was on Instagram, and it was about black and red ants. You could put black ants and red ants in a jar, and they'll be okay. But if someone shake the jar, then the ants will start fighting each other. So what they're saying is blacks and whites can live together in peace and harmony, but until somebody shake the jar, that'll cause us to fight, which is totally untrue. Because you see, whites never needed anybody to agitate them to attack. Whites don't need no. They're gonna fight whoever they come in contact with. If they got something that they want, white people are gonna find a way to take it from them. So you can squash that. But I'm gonna stick to this analogy. I'm gonna do this video. I'm gonna stick to this analogy, and we're gonna keep it in context. Black ants is going to be black people, and red ants is going to be for white people. So let's stick to that as I get into this. You know, red ants always talk about how someone is always shaking a jar for us to fight. Black ants lack the ability to shake up the system. We were robbed of this over 500 years ago. So who has the power and influence to shake the jar? Red ants do. From the power they stole that was once ours. The red ants that speak of living in peace, they are the powerless ones. But they are key to maintaining the status quo. And they benefit from this state also. Understand that it takes a special type of red ant to terrorize, torture, and rape, murder black ants to the point of enslavement. The other red ant's purpose is to herd the black ants and keep us on track. Red ants often talk as if there's someone else other than themselves that is our enemy. And even though they are powerless, do not underestimate them. They can be just as evil as their powerful brothers. Black ants and red ants have never lived in harmony amongst each other. In fact, we are blood enemies and has been for hundreds of years. I know this is hard to believe, but it is true. And I speak the truth. I speak the truth you were never told. The truth hidden and the truth you need to hear. And the truth is, all red ants are not really evil. But within each red ant is the seed that flower evil, and it will blossom to protect what they have stolen from others. But before I conclude this video, I want to say this. When black ants lived amongst themselves, did we live with this division we do today? Did we need anyone to tell our stories or our history? Did we need anyone to feed, clothe, educate our own? No. So stop ignoring and denying why we need someone to do these things for us today. When we welcome these red ants into our community, showed them our works, and educated them, how did they repay this kindness? The same red ants who shook the jar 500 years ago is the same ants shaking it today. When there was no one around but us, we lived in peace. Even after black ants broke from the red ants and created their own society, what did the red ants do? They destroyed our community. Several times we did this, and several times red ants came and destroyed it. When our independence threatened their way of life, our towns and our communities were attacked by the aggressively powerful red ants. And to stop us, they enlisted the help of the passively powerful red ants. You see, that seed that is within all red ants grew to join or replace the others to maintain their power structure. Every time black and red ants meet, it ends badly for us. Red ants, they want us to live in peace, but only with them, not amongst ourselves. Red ants will teach, feed, employ us, but do not get it twisted. They will never change our condition. They will tell our stories and change the names, the places, and images, then replace them with their own and confuse us just enough so we won't recognize the truth and keep us functioning in their behalf. You know, I was watching an episode of Star Trek, and I love Star Trek. Well, Star Trek has some interesting moments. It's not like Star Wars, but don't let me digress. An alien told Worf his father, who he believed had died on planet Khitomer years ago, still existed. Worf went to go find out whether or not his father was still alive. When he got to the planet, he found Klingons and Romulans both living together. The Romulans, the general that controlled the fleet, he grew tired of the war and chose this opportunity to say, hey, let's live here together in peace and harmony. We won't fight each other, and we won't have to go back home. We can stay right here. Everybody think we're dead, so we're going to leave. We're going to stay right here. That ended his military career because this is what he wanted. But don't get it twisted. He kept the Klingons up under their thumb, up under his thumb. They could not leave the compound without his authority or his trust. The only ones in the society that had weapons were the Romulans. When Worf showed up and started interacting with the other Klingons, the girl was singing a warrior song that they used to sing before they go into battle, but she was singing it in the form of a lullaby. Knives and Klingon armor that should have been protected and cared for was laid to waste and rust. Tools used to hone a warrior's skills, the Romulans had them using them as garden tools. You see, this is what happened when you live with the more aggressive people. They're never going to teach you or raise you to your full potential. And the general, the Romulan general, he was boasting to Worf about the community that he built. No Romulan government has ever done what I've done, brought Klingons and Romulans together. But how did you bring them together? By continually deceiving the young. And this is what we're doing. We're living under the thumb of a very aggressive people. They're twisting our stories. taking our images away from us, our motivation, just to keep us docile enough not to question them. But I digress. If you have never questioned how a race of ants that has thousands of years of history, that today cannot govern themselves, feed or build or provide any essential services, and can only exist as long as red ants provide them for us, but our combined history together goes back only 500 years, you're a fool. How did we live the thousands of years before red ants showed up? Who built our towns and communities? Who built our monuments? Carved our hieroglyphics? All the educational sciences were established well before red ants washed upon our shores. Now you're telling me that you have never thought, how could we have created math and now we must have red ants teach math to us? Imagine the imagery and influence our ants will have if they could look up to any level of authority over black ants and see our image. How do you think this will inspire our little ants? There are two things standing in the way of this. One, continuing to believe in and hope for a non-existent history of black and red ants living in peace together. And two, ignoring or denying the existing history of us living in peace and harmony amongst our own. It is up to you to choose. I'm going to end this video here. And if you like this message, please share it. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete liberation of my people. And I will see you in my next message. Ashe.